human body was the first machine ever built. Not designed, not engineered, not perfected. It was assembled by evolution, slowly, blindly, imperfectly. Bones became livers. Muscles became engines. The heart became a pump. The brain, a network of fragile electricity. And like all machines, it breaks. Sometimes suddenly, sometimes quietly, sometimes piece by piece. A fall, a disease, a war, an accident. In a single moment, the body forgets how to do what it once did without thought. To walk, to hear, to see, to breathe. This is not the story of machines.
That's it, just like that. You're doing great, Arthur. Almost there.
This is the story of what we do when being human is no longer enough. For most of human history, we believed the body was sacred. Not because it was perfect, but because it was untouchable. Flesh was given, not chosen. Bones were inherited, not designed. And whatever broke within the body was believed to carry meaning. In ancient civilizations, injury was seen as punishment. A mark of error, a consequence written into flesh. Disease was not something to fight. It was fate arriving on time. Disability was not a condition. It was destiny made visible. The Egyptians wrapped damaged bodies in linen and prayer, preparing them not for repair, but for eternity. The Greeks searched for balance in humors and philosophy,
Equipoise, earth below, air above, fire and water.
believing health was harmony and suffering imbalance. The Romans forged prosthetics from wood and iron, rigid, heavy, unforgiving. Not to restore the body, but to hide what was lost. A missing limb was not replaced, it was endured. A failing heart was not repaired, it was awaited. For centuries, the body was something to live inside, not something to alter. Pain was born, weakness was accepted, loss was carried like a quiet burden. Because to interfere with flesh felt like interfering with the soul. To change the body was to question the order of creation itself. And yet, the body kept breaking. On battlefields, where steel met bone. In factories, where repetition outpaced endurance. In childbirth, where life demanded a price. And in silence, through through illness, age, and unseen decay. No matter how sacred the body was believed to be, it failed. Again and again. Every broken body, lying still, trembling, or gasping, asked the same unspoken question. Is this where being human ends? The first machines did not dream of making us stronger. They did not promise improvement. They did not imagine transcendence. They tried to keep us alive. When the body failed, the answer was not elegance. It was survival. Crude hooks replaced hands, cold metal shaped into the memory of fingers. Leather straps bound wooden legs to shattered hips, holding bodies upright through friction and pain. Iron braces wrapped broken bones, forcing them to stand before they were ready. These early prosthetics were not gentle. They were heavy, unbalanced, unforgiving. They did not listen to the body, they commanded it. To use them was not to move naturally. It was to struggle against resistance. To fight stiffness, to endure pressure where flesh once yielded. Every step was an argument, every motion a negotiation with pain. And still, people tried, because standing, even painfully, was better than disappearing. In the aftermath of war, when bodies returned broken and incomplete, engineers and doctors gathered in dimly lit rooms. Tables cluttered with sketches and scraps of metal, the air thick with oil, dust, and exhaustion. There were no grand visions, no bold predictions, only urgency.
He chafes at the socket. We can reinforce it later.
Hands stained not with ambition, but with necessity.
Can still hold on.
Their question was not how to make humans greater. It was how to make them remain. How to help someone stand long enough to work, to walk far enough to return home, to live, even if imperfectly. These were not inventions born of confidence. They were built from desperation. The first attempts were not about progress. They were about refusal. A refusal to let broken bodies vanish quietly from the world. Slowly, something changed, not in machines, but in how we understood ourselves. For centuries, the body had been treated as sacred matter, flesh to be endured, repaired, or restrained. Now it was seen differently, not as a symbol, not as a vessel, but as a system. A body in motion was no longer mysterious. It was measurable.
So that's why I feel the instability.
Muscle fibers carried electrical impulses. Nerves transmitted intention as signals. The heart responded to rhythm, not will. Breath followed patterns.
Breathing is a structured dance, a dynamic algorithm. From the deep waves of sleep,
Movement followed feedback. For the first time, engineers stopped forcing the body to obey and began to observe how it spoke. And what they discovered was simple and profound. The body does not speak in language, it speaks in signals. Electrical, chemical, rhythmic. And if those signals could be detected, they could be interpreted. If they could be interpreted, they could be answered. This was the true turning point. Not a leap into science fiction, but a step closer to the body itself. Because now machines were no longer built to command flesh. They were built to listen. And in that quiet shift, engineering crossed from control into intimacy.
Silent conversation built on respect.
The body was no longer something technology acted upon. It became something technology responded to. Listening, it turned out, was not the same as understanding.
We need a neural stabilizer and 50 cc's of anxiolytic immediately. Clear the room.
The body spoke, but machines did not always hear correctly. Early experiments faltered, circuits overheated, damaging fragile tissue. Implants were rejected by the very bodies they were meant to save. Mechanical hearts move blood, but not wisely enough to keep it alive. For every moment of promise, there were dozens of quiet failures. Failures that never made headlines. Failures measured not in data, but in lives interrupted. Patients placed their trust in machines and paid with pain, complications, or silence. Families waited for breakthroughs, for miracles whispered by science,
But we are seeing a significant positive response.
and instead learned patience and restraint and grief. This was not progress, a celebration. There were no clean victories here. This was progress as trial, as error, as consequence. Every advancement brought relief to some and new risks to others. Every success carried a shadow it could not escape. Because with each step forward, a deeper question began to surface. One technology could not calculate away. How much of the machine can a human endure before something essential is no longer human at all? And yet, people returned, again and again. Not because technology had finally become perfect. Not because the risks were gone. Not because the questions had been answered.
Good. Again. Again.
But because life was unfinished. A person without legs still dreamed of walking, not faster, not farther, just forward. A failing heart still asked for time, not forever, just a little more. A silent world still longed for sound, not perfection, just connection. Slowly, something became clear. Augmentation was never about power, not about enhancement, not about becoming more than human. It was about return. Returning movement where stillness had taken hold. Returning sensation where numbness remained. Returning connection where isolation had settled in. Technology was not trying to create a new kind of human. It was trying to give something back. Back to bodies interrupted. Back to lives paused mid-sentence. Back to futures that had not yet finished unfolding. This was the turning point. Not when machines became stronger, but when their purpose became clearer. To serve life, not replace it. To restore what was lost without erasing what remained. Today, machines breathe for us, beat for us, listen for us, move with us. They are no longer tools we hold. They are systems we carry, wired into muscle, threaded into blood, placed beneath skin. And with every integration, the question grows quieter, but heavier. If machines can repair the body, what happens to the meaning of being human? This series is not about the future. It is about the moment we are already living in. The moment when survival became a collaboration. In the next chapter, we try something different. We stop forcing machines to imitate the body and we ask them to listen instead. Before technology made us stronger, it helped us stay.